beautiful family, friends. So today, drum roll please, we are doing another marriage breakdown. Listen, I love David and Lisa. David used to work with me back at Express Courier Logistics Company. So that's how I met David. And then David started going to church. David and Lisa went to church with my parents. We affectionately call them Mother Teresa and Pope Bobby.
Yeah.
They're going to kill us, but oh, wow.
I thought I was the only one that done that.
No, I've always said Mother Teresa. I say it when I'm being smart aleck. So imagine that. So but they're joining us today, and we're going to dive in a little bit more about marriage, and you just get to know them a little bit. So David and Lisa are celebrating, what is it, 31 years of marriage?
Yeah,
yesterday. So 31 years of marriage, y'all. That's hey,
I've had to put up with a
people
lot.
ain't see it like that.
Yeah. I had a lot to put up with.
Hey, I think she may feel the same way. We don't know. Tomato. So, okay, let's get into it. Tell us how you met.
You want the real reason or the real way, or you want what I tell people?
I don't know.
I'll tell the real reason. We met at church. I was a
church.
I played the piano at church, and she was coming with some friends of ours, and we just struck up a conversation, started dating, and 31 years later, we're still together. Simple as that. We met at church.
Gotcha. Okay, so you all got married. What age were you at when you got married?
I was 20, and you were 22.
22. Yeah. So was there like a lot of people that were like, "Oh, you're getting married too young," or yeah.
We had that. We had people say, you will never make it.
Yeah.
People were set against us, but when you're in love, what do you do?
What do you do? Romeo and we can't say Romeo and Juliet because they died, so we can't say that. So let me come up with a different one. But no, you all persevere and you stuck through. So when it comes to marriage, being that you were married at in your 20s until now, I imagine that you all have encountered a lot, had to walk through a lot, learn how to communicate with each other in order to make it to this 31. So what would you feel like has been one of your biggest challenges, or not necessarily a challenge, something that you've learned and that it's helped you all to grow and evolve in your marriage?
We had to learn to listen to each other, and we had to listen to God. We had to really put it together that God was the one, the first to stay in, and then we made the rest.
Right.
Okay. And you learn to give the other person their space, their time. She's as different from me from night and day. So we each have our own way of processing things.
Right.
And maybe we couldn't come together at the moment. If we go off and circle back around, we always found pretty much a solution to whatever we were facing.
I'm glad you said that, because when Prince and I first got married, this is funny. I grew up to where we're pissed and we're mad. We just won't talk to you for a while. And then all of a sudden, everybody's best friends again, right? Everybody just come back together. We don't talk about the issue. We don't talk about what pissed you off. We're back. Okay. It was a nice commercial break. Welcome back. Right. Princeton grew up. I call it like the Huxtables. We're going to have a family meeting and we're going to talk about it. And we're going to have a kumbaya and we're going to fix it right now. So whenever he and I would have a disagreement, it would be like, "Oh, Jackie, we're fixing this right now. We're talking about this." I'm like, "Oh, so now you're pressing me to fix it?" Like, that's what I felt. And then finally I had to tell him, like, we come from two different households and we handle disagreements and tough discussions differently. Give me my space. Yeah. Let me process. And he's like, "But if I do that, you've got to come back around." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "Not like 3 or 4 days later."
But that's the key right there.
Yeah, not 3 or 4 days later, because trust me, but that's key. So I'm glad you said that, because that's so important, because not only that, but it's fighting fair too, because some people don't fight fair. I say there's hitting below the belt and then there's fighting fair.
Yeah.
So how big or how important has your faith played in your marriage?
It's the central point of it.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, we both came into this as Christians.
Yeah.
Strong in our faith. We were young, but I think we were strong in our faith. We relied on him solely. We didn't have a choice, really. What we were faced with a lot of times.
Yeah.
We became dependent on him and knowing that he was going to supply our needs.
Yeah.
That sounds cliche and it sounds easy, but we walked it out. We lived it. And I guess that kind of builds your faith later on. You can look back 20 years and say, well, he brought me through that. And at that time, that was the worst thing. Whatever we were going through was the worst.
Felt like the worst at the moment. Yeah.
And looking back on it now, some of the stuff was silly. Yeah. But at the time, it was a mountain to us. And we walked through that. Where we're at now. I hope I know we're stronger in our faith. Right. You know, be able to face whatever comes our way with knowing he's going to see us through.
Yeah. So y'all, David has this thing he's been doing, and he's got a YouTube channel, and we'll put the link in this video, but it's called Marriage Pro Tips. Yeah. Now, if you're like real big and like super feminist, like it's not for you, I'm telling you right now, like don't do it because you'll get offended if you're looking to be offended. It's not that deep at all. But it's funny. It is hilarious. So he's got a bunch of marriage pro tips. So what is a tip that you can give newly married couples who are starting on this journey? Like, what advice would you give them?
Serious advice or something stupid?
Both. We'll do both.
Okay.
Why not? We'll do both.
I think it goes back to what we just talked about. Work out your disagreements quickly.
Yeah.
My daddy used to tell me, "Don't ever go to bed mad." And that was the thing with me and her. There was sometimes I would stay up. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. So learn each other. You know, learn what is it? Learn her love language. Learn her. But also learn what pushes her buttons. Yeah. And don't do that. See, I'm saying that after I did it. It's a lot easier to look back and say, don't do that. Yeah. But if I knew something irritated her and I was already a little bit teed off at her, honey, I would just go blow it out of the water and make sure she knew about it. Yeah. So, you know, make sure, I guess the number one thing is to make sure she's your best friend and that you're certain that you're in love with them before you ever marry, you know?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Lisa,
the biggest thing is I had to learn was that my husband came first before my family or anything else. That was very hard for me because I grew up as an only child and my mother raised me. And so it was very hard for me to learn that I had to put him first God, then David. And you know, once I done that, then our marriage became whole together. And we were able to sit down, talk about those things, and be able to work them out as husband and wife instead of trying to work them out far apart. So.
Right. That's good. Y'all are dropping some nuggets today. I like it. So you all have two beautiful children. So let's talk about kids. What was your biggest challenge in raising children? And this, may need this for me. Like this, I'm asking this for me. Like, what's been like one of the biggest challenges you had in parenting your children? And when do you let your children go to a certain extent, right? And just say, like, I can't, you know, they're grown.
I've often said if we'd had our daughter first, there would have been no Blake because she was the one who would tear down a wall. He was the total opposite. You could sit him in a corner and he'd sit there for days and sing to himself. So even though they're your children, sometimes you wonder, where did they come from? And you got to learn to deal with that child. Coming together, and this is an area we struggled with, is coming together in discipline. Looking back at it now, I know what they were doing. The kids were, one would pit me against her. Mom said this or dad said that. So learning to address the issues as a joint unit. Right. But the kids and not letting them put ideas in one of our heads. Right. That was the biggest thing. And, you know, and calling them out. call them out. I'm like this. If I know you're doing it, I'm going to tell you about it.
Right.
And probably everybody, all your little friends are going to know about it, because if you lie to me and I find it out,
right.
So I didn't put up, I wasn't that bad of a dad. I really wasn't, but I didn't put up with anything. I didn't have the time for it.
Right. Right.
I think they knew what to expect. So they didn't really push our buttons too awful bad.
Yeah. That's once again, you dropping some nuggets, being together when it comes to the discipline of the child. And so I have those conversations with Princeton. So I'm like, let's set the precedents, like right now, where we stand and how we're going to do this. Like, so if we do encounter a situation, we're not, going berserks for no reason. Let's come up with the plan of action now. Let's create that game plan now. Or, so yeah, I think that's good. And that's the earlier you can do that and apply it, the better.
And be consistent with it. You have to be consistent.
Yeah, that's a good key word.
And
make sure you talk to each other before you actually discipline the children. You have to talk to each other before, so that we're on the same guidelines there.
Yeah, it often helped too for her to have like something hold me back. If I was really going at it, I'm gonna whip you and think about it later. So
okay, so we're gonna play a little game.
Okay.
So, David, like, you're right. So if the answer is, I'm asking a question, if it's David's more likely to do it, you put up your right hand. If Lisa's more likely to do it, you put up your left hand.
Okay.
Are y'all ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
No crazy questions, I promise. Okay. Who makes up the bed when they get out of it? Who's more likely to make up the bed?
Right-handed if it's her.
Right-handed if it's you.
Oh.
Who is it?
You would raise your hand. Sorry, we got it. We got it going on. Sorry, we're real slow.
I forgot right and left. I said right, but you get it. Okay. Who's more likely to take out the trash?
Both of us.
Yeah, we both do.
Both of you. Okay. Who drives the fastest?
No, I'm not.
Well, I'll ask it this way. Who's had the most speeding tickets? I'll ask it that way.
Well, the tickets are not speeding.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the first one to say, I'm sorry? Okay. Who's more likely to fix dinner at night? All right, David, you got to step up. You have to step up.
I work all the time.
I know. Okay. Who's more likely to say, who was the first person that said, I love you first?
I was. Oh, yeah, I was. You got me all confused. I was.
You were the first one to say, I love you. Oh, that's precious. Okay. All right.
Hey, I got a story for you.
Good job.
I got a story for you, too, about where her first kiss was at.
Tell it.
Well, we had been dating. We hadn't really been dating. We had been seeing each other and going off and on. And my uncle passed away at McCarty's mortuary over there off Martin Luther King and Holston Drive.
Yep.
And man, everybody in the country comes to that funeral. There was a line out the door, and I'm going outside. Well, there she stands. She's just so sweet, and she was in line. I went and got her, brought her out of the line, and we talked. And there's a Hardee's across the street. Yeah. And that's where you used to have to park. We walked her over there, had her in the hand, and I looked at her and I said, "Can I kiss you?" And she said, "Yes." So we got our first kiss at a funeral home. Isn't that romantic?
I love it. Hey, listen, it was new life, right? You took the dead man, knew it was new life. Yeah.
First place I kissed her, be the last place she kisses me.
Well, see, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. Y'all gotta check out his YouTube channel. He's bonkers. He just says whatever. It's so funny. Okay. Well, I think that's a wrap for today. Thank you all so much for agreeing to do this and telling us a little about yourself and your love story and dropping nuggets of truth on some folks, because people need to hear it. Marriage is challenging, and some people just give up these days, like give up too easy. You gotta want to fight for this thing, you made a covenant. You gotta sometimes you just gotta fight.
Yeah.
Fight for it.
It's serious business. Sometimes you look at folks who are so quick to call it and go for separate ways or get a divorce.
Yeah.
It's worth fighting for.
Yeah.
and I don't have the time to go chase nobody else.
Say it again. Say it again. We don't have the time, the energy, the money. No.
Yeah. And I said the other night, I told somebody, she leaves, I'm going with her. I leave, she's going with me. It's just not worth finding anybody new.
No, it is not. It is not. Like, I could imagine, I was talking to one of my friends, I was like, I couldn't imagine like ever being like having to date and go through all that. Like, it's not, no, thank you. No. Mm-mm. So it's for life.
Yeah.
That's right.
Put them for life, Lisa, and likewise.
That's right.
All right.
Well, all right. Thank you all so much for joining. And Facebook family, he'll post this on his page. I'll post it on mine and our YouTube channel. So check it out. And thank you all again.
You're welcome. Good talking to you, sweetheart.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.